Hey everybody, it's Courtney Atkinson here. Normally I'm with Atkinson & Associates Realty, but today I'm with the Dooryard Union. This is a show typically about entrepreneurs and badassery in general, and it's typically stories about people that have gone on long journeys to be self-employed, but we're taking a deviation today to talk about some other badasses in our community. So with me I have Jen Tribble, the Executive Director for the Lethbridge Food Bank, and Meryl Kiani. You said what?
No.
Okay.
I'm the food bank, but she's my city care. It's okay.
It's a good thing we're not live, right? and Meryl Kiani Terry with the Lethbridge Food Bank. So thanks for keeping me honest about all that, guys. I want you to tell us about Christmas Hope. It's something that my team and I are involved in. I'll pitch more about that later, but I want to tell our viewers why this is important to you and how it began.
Perfect. So for the last 12 years, Lethbridge Food Bank, Interfaith Food Bank, and Salvation Army basically joined forces to serve our community during Christmas time. This year it was really exciting to be able to bring other agencies on board and make this partnership really a strong partnership. So we have My City Care and Angel Tree joining our partnership. So Christmas Hope is now basically a program of 5 agencies serving our community and surrounding area. So we're really blessed to be able to basically reach out as far as we can and serve the families and the children that are in need within Lethbridge and surrounding area. So
cool.
Yeah.
So was this an initiative that you came up with, or collectively were you executive directors, you badasses, like, okay guys, like, how are we gonna rock Christmas this year? Tell us about how that began.
So I think it definitely was a collaboration of all the agencies together, and what we decided is we're serving the same community, and we're serving the children and the families that are in need in our community. So how can we do this better, and how can we do it jointly and collaboratively to be able to utilize those resources, eliminate duplications, and be donor conscious as well. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that something that's limited to this season, or is it something that you see happening in the future with other events? How does that carry forward, or is it kind of like a one-time thing in your mind?
I would say it's like it can. We've always had a pretty good working relationship with other agencies, and I know we've always strived to have even better partnerships and relationships with the other agencies in Lethbridge, and I know this was just a step forward for us with Christmas Hope, and it's going to be I think it's going to be an exciting year to see what happens and how that all comes together.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think Lethbridge is definitely a collaborative community, and a lot of agencies want to collaborate so that we can serve the community better.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I was involved with the Rotary Centennial Project, and giving away that $100,000. And one of the things that was special to me about being engaged with that was the fact that you kind of all wanted each other to win. Like, that is not the way that it is in my business or many other businesses, but really collectively the level of care and support for each agency in our community is awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So talk to us a bit about the forward-facing and the kind of back-facing pieces of a project like this. So, you need infrastructure, you need volunteers, you need people to deliver, but you also need people in the background coordinating and kind of organizing. So talk to us about those various components and how difficult something like this is to put together. It seems fairly complex to me.
Absolutely, it is, and there's lots that are involved with it. We are what we're doing as 5 agencies, using the same database for basically ensuring that there's no duplication of clients. So that's been. I think it's been a really nice and good way of collaborating, and also throughout, we know that this year we're going to have little bumps along the way that we will address when they come. But so far it's a pretty smooth and I think great collaboration. There's definitely, this is probably, I would say, the busiest time of the year for each of the agencies. I could speak for our agency. We are definitely very busy on the back end, preparing for Christmas hampers, recruiting donations to be able to fund the Christmas hampers, registering people, and finding volunteers for different events that are happening. And I think you have the same.
Yeah, and I would say for us, we start very early in the year, so we've been planning for months for Shop and Wonders, looking for the facilities, looking for the volunteers, looking for the donations, all those things to come together so we can better serve our community. And I know it's been it's been a blessing and an honor to be a part of this partnership, and it's done nothing but really strengthen what we're doing. And I think it's been really awesome.
So I heard two things that I want to dive a little bit deeper on. So you said centralized database.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So most people in business would think that that is a difficult piece of control to give up. Has anybody struggled with that?
I wouldn't say that we have struggled with it.
No.
I think what we wanted to do is make sure that the families that are being served are served properly,
Yeah.
but also we don't miss any families,
Mhm.
so that we have we're able to be able to provide everyone that's in need. So it's been a really interesting, basically collaboration to see that a lot of the families we do jointly serve, and so how can we serve them better, and how can we do this better for the community, and also collaborate so that we can serve the surrounding area. So our Angel Tree and I believe Shop at Wonders as well does serve surrounding area. With Food Bank, we also do surrounding, but we don't go over other food banks turfs. So
So that was a probably difficult decision to come to, where you had to go to your colleagues and say, hey, like, give up your database. We if we're going to do this, we got to get real. Is that how that went?
So the two food banks actually operate on Link to Feed, so it's a cloud-based database that's made by the food banks for the food banks, and it's a very basically wholesome sort of like database where we can just tailor it the way we want to do a program. And that was sort of the database that we brought on the table when we were talking about our partnership. And each agency had to go through different channels to be able to get that approved. And we, with boards, each of us have boards and other individuals that are sort of part of that decision making. So it was a pretty easy decision to be able to partner on that.
That's really cool.
And if anything, it really streamlined a lot of the processes, because I know for our volunteers that are registering, they can now go on and look and make sure so-and-so has a food hamper and that they're being taken care of and stuff. So it really made it easier, instead of us picking up the phone and being like, do you know if this person has been helped, kind of thing. It just makes it easy. We just have it all in the database and we can check right there.
That's amazing. So talk to us a bit about what each individual organization involved with Christmas Hope does. So maybe you can start with My City Care. So tell us and the viewers about, you know, what it is that you do, why you do it, and where your core competencies lie.
Wow. So Shop at Wonders, we've been doing Shop at Wonders for about 3 years now. I think it started out as just kind of we were kind of getting families that we were picking out toys for and just providing a little bit of help for in the season, and it kind of formalized into a bit of a program the following year, and then the next year we kind of grew into we should kind of expand this, and then it kind of developed into what's now the Shop at Wonders, which is basically an experience for families to come. We serve babies all the way up to adults through it, so when the kids are downstairs basically shopping, the kids go upstairs and they get to pick out a gift for mom and dad, and there's hot chocolate and gift wrapping stations, and it's kind of the whole Christmas experience in one place, and it's just been an amazing experience even for the volunteers that are involved, because they have kind of like an elf shopper that goes with them, kind of thing, to help them pick out their gifts. And it's an awesome experience. I know for all of our volunteers who have been involved since the very beginning, it's one of our favorite projects. It's definitely one of those projects that it warms your heart to see just the impact that you're having in the community.
Wow. And is that something that's ongoing throughout the year? Can you maybe talk to us a bit about the ongoing aspects of your work?
We actually just moved into an office downtown. We're at the lower level of 5th on 5th Youth Services. And so we moved in September. So a few of the things that we have down there is we have a free family clothing store kind of thing. So families can come, they can pick out clothes for their kids all throughout the year. We also have the Cinderella Project down there now, which is a program for students that need grad attire. So we serve both male and female students. They can come down and get tuxes, suits, shoes, the whole 9 yards.
And I've heard it's really awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We've had some really generous support from the community, lots of people donating, and I just unwrapped 2 brand new dresses today that came in that were donated.
Wow.
And yeah, it's an amazing program. So we had 27 students last year that came through the program, and it's pretty incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then we also this year started our sewing studio. So we have a sewing program down there, and we have about 7 machines now, I think, and classes that operate throughout the day, and it's free for the community. You register through an agency, and then we have lessons that go on. There's kids programs through adult programs.
Wow. That's cool. So there's 2 more agencies involved, so pitch us on those.
So there's interfaith. That's 3 more. So the other food bank.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just counting that too. Interfaith Food Bank, and there is Salvation Army, and there is Angel Tree.
Okay.
So the Salvation Army basically again provides the toys for our children for Christmas time.
Yeah.
So both food banks register families for Salvation Army toys. They are on appointment base. We provide them with the appointments, and the families can go through that time of the appointment and choose the toys that they want for their children. With Angel Tree, it's been a program that's been running for 25 years or more than 25 years, where they provide, again, I think you've seen the trees with the little angels, and it's the name of the kids, and same thing, they provide the toys to the children. This is the first year they're actually collecting some names so that they can cross-reference and make sure that we are all serving the community in the way we want to. And with Interfaith Food Bank and us, again, we do the food hampers for Christmas, and what we do is we upsize our hampers during the Christmas, so that December, they receive the December Christmas plus a Christmas meal. So that includes turkey, chicken, ham, the Christmas meal.
So nobody should go
itself.
through the holidays without gaining 5 pounds.
Basically,
Good.
that's our goal.
Excellent.
And Interfaith also does follow their star, where they do adopting basically adopting, I believe, a single parent. They also do their adopted family as well. So
That's cool.
there's
So a lot going on. So,
Absolutely.
so in the delivery of all this stuff, like where does it happen, and how does that get coordinated? I mean, these sound like incredibly complex things to put together. So let's hear about that.
Okay. So for the food part, we let the clients know when they come to register, which depend on which food bank they go to, Interfaith or us. Wherever they register, they will pick up their hamper from that location. Our hamper distributions from December 10th to the 21st, and they can come through our operating hours and pick up their food hamper. With the Salvation Army toys, they would basically have to go to Salvation Army with the slip that they would have on their appointment time and choose a toy they would like. I believe I'll let you speak on yours, but I think Angel Trees is done through whoever the referring agency is. They would also take the toys and distribute it that way. So distribution is going to happen through according to what the agency, how their process is, basically.
Yeah, and ours would be very similar to Salvation Army. You'd get an appointment, your family would be able to come in at that time, and then you would do your shopping through there, and we space them out throughout the 2 weeks that we're running the Shop of Wonders.
Got it. And so in your database for future reference, are you tracking those things so that you can see which families have capitalized, and so that you can have, track of people coming in and out of the system, if you will, over years?
Oh, absolutely. That's what's really beautiful about the system, is that it will tell you how many new clients you had this month, and and then you could see the history of this client has been has not used the food bank for months, which means that something was going really well.
It's valuable data.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have clients that only use us during the Christmas months, because it is expensive times, and then after that they usually get help around January, and then after that they don't tend to come. They're okay on their own, and so it's different according to different families. But what's really nice about the database is also it's live, so it's cloud-based. So if they do go to Shop of Wonders, and Shop of Wonders can say, "Oh, I see that you've already sign up for your food. I'll sign you up for your toys." Or if you haven't signed up for your food, I would highly suggest you go to the food banks and sign up for your food.
That's so awesome.
It communicates really well.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I have some more questions about the back end of things. So this is a really resource-intensive type journey that you're on. And so do you need additional people to volunteer and to support you in the delivery of these services around this season?
Absolutely. I know for us at My City Care, and I'm sure for the other agencies as well, volunteers are crucial this time of year. We need everywhere from wrappers to people that are willing to pick up toys, people that are willing to help families shop, to decorating, to you name it. I know for us, we're definitely looking for more volunteers, and I think I would say like the other agencies would be as well.
Absolutely, and I think for us, and for both food banks, we're definitely looking for volunteers for our events. We have lots of events that are coming out throughout the season, and a lot of events, it's 1 or 2 hours that we would need volunteers for, and those are really important for us, and really there's a lot of need for volunteers at that time.
Okay,
Sure.
so I'll throw the pitch out there for you now. So if someone was to register for volunteering for one of these organizations over the holidays, where would they go about doing that?
They can. I would say that the best place would be to go to wherever they would like
Individual
to.
agencies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Cool.
would say that would be the best.
Or if you have questions, you can just comment on the videos below, or message me personally.
Yes.
And then I'll put you in touch with whoever you like the most.
Yeah.
Or you can go to christmashope.ca as well.
Oh,
All of our information is
there's
on
that.
there as well. There you go. Forgot about that one.
I know, no big deal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then, so that's how the services are delivered. That's where they're delivered at. And how many families do you anticipate that you'll be affecting with a program like this, if you had to guess?
Well, we are, as agencies, we're basically anticipating 2,700 adults and 4,000 children.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is.
Hmm.
It's a huge
Yeah.
number compared to our previous, but I think collaboratively that's why.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that there's some additional efficiencies gathered by, pooling resources. It's not just a sum total of the people that you're serving.
No, absolutely, and I think the partnership will work really well in a sense that, for example, for toys, if Shop of Wonders has an excess amount of toys that Angel Tree doesn't, they can basically switch and swap and meet the needs in that way, rather than having to go and purchase those toys where another agency might be able to help you with that. Yeah.
Okay. Something else that I wanted to ask you about, and I've heard people say this over the years, they're either busy at Christmas time or they're tapped with their work, one thing or another, but they do have resources, they do have, the ability to give monetarily, or they do have the ability to give gifts. Can you talk to our viewers a bit about what that might look like? Is it best to receive funds? Is that receivable? Is it a tax donation? Would you like to have gifts? If so, where? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to speak about the gifts?
Yeah.
Because it could be food
Yeah.
too. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do know for Shop of Wonders, we do end up purchasing out of monetary donations because we buy in certain price ranges. So we kind of have 3 different levels of gifts that we buy, so that it's equal throughout, and we all kind of agreed as agencies that the amount was going to be $80 per child that comes through, that we were going to kind of try to price everything out around that. So that does help. It kind of helps make sure that it's fair and that everybody equally gets the same amount of gifts kind of stuff. And then we can also bulk purchase, which is great. So we can go to other retailers and get a really good price.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. But we're happy to take any donations, and I think you guys also like.
So yeah, with monetary, we are we're grateful for any donation that we do receive. But what happens with monetary donations, that we can, as food banks, can stretch that $2 to 3 times more. So we can purchase more than the donation that comes in. We can also purchase what's staple goods in our hampers, because we have standardized size hampers.
Right.
So we want to make sure that everyone receives the same Christmas hamper, regardless of which agency they go to. So the monetary funds will allow us to do that. They are all tax receipted. So monetary funds, whether they're done online on the food bank websites, they will receive automatic tax receipts, or if they're done via check or any other way, we will mail them a tax receipt. With toys, I believe that there are boxes that you guys are putting throughout the cities, throughout the city, and I know Salvation Army does that as well, and Angel Tree as well, where donations can be made in those boxes.
Okay.
And each of our agencies, we like we said, you donate to one, you donate to all, sort of thing. If they want to do for Christmas Hope, then we will split that 5 ways. And for food, we have different events that are happening throughout the city that we encourage people to donate food, for sure.
Okay. So if I've heard you correctly, then if I was to hand deliver a box of Kraft Dinner, for example, you're saying if that was $30, just give us your $30 because we can buy 3 cases of that.
Basically. But we'll still take that box of Kraft Dinner as well.
You're not being ungrateful, but you're just being suggestive, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's all... I can see the struggle, because sometimes you're at the grocery store and you're thinking, you know what, I want to do this thing. What's my $5 or $10 going to do? And maybe the connection between my $5 and $10 and you gets lost, right? But if the food's purchased, then the odds are that it gets delivered. So
and like sometimes it is about the experience. I know for when we take our kids out to go do something like that, they want to pick the toys. They want to go out and hand pick something and donate that. So really, whatever's going to work best for the people donating, if it's that experience for you, then That's awesome.
Right.
And sometimes it's easier when you're grocery shopping just to take
Yes.
it and put it in that food bin, because we have
Yeah.
bins in almost
Yeah.
every local grocer. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So talk to us a bit about the time frames associated with that. So presumably there's a window of time where you need to deliver on these, goods or dollars that you've received. So is there like a closing date where people should really rush to get their donations or their gifts dropped off?
Well, gifts, toys, you go.
In the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
No rush.
The next 2
Get her
weeks would
done,
be
right?
awesome. Yeah, we have the first week is kind of our setup week, and then the 2 weeks in the middle of December is when we have the families come in to do the shopping.
Mhm.
And even last year, we did end up running out of certain things and had to go out mid program and go and buy stuff for where we were lacking.
Mhm.
So it does happen, and yeah, it's definitely something that we'll probably have to do again.
Okay.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks would be awesome.
So I would say for us is we start building our hampers second week, well, next week actually in November, and all the way till first week in December. And so anything that goes in those hampers we have to purchase, and we've done some purchasing already. However, one thing that people do forget is our clients still need the food after as well. So we encourage the donations whenever they can to come in, because in January is definitely very difficult for us to be able to basically provide the same amount of clients with hampers once again. So the funds help us with being able to purchase food not only for Christmas time but also for January.
Yeah.
So for you, it would be a drop-off at the corner of 5th on 5th downstairs anytime in the next 2 weeks?
2 weeks would be great.
Next week would be better. And then for you, just like keep on dropping off
Yes.
money.
Absolutely. And food. Money and food.
Okay.
Money, yes.
Okay, cool. And we're doing one little thing. That's part of the reason why we're all here tonight. So was my wife Mel's idea to put together a little to-do on December the 1st, right? It's at the Hive, which is just down the street from you, above my office. Above Bread, Milk and Honey. If you've not been there, you should go there. The address is 427 5th Street South. The hours are between 1 and 4, December the 1st. And from what I understand, because I'm on a need-to-know basis, you can bring dollars, you can bring gifts, or you can bring food, I think, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. Let's say that you can do those things.
Yes.
Because
Why not?
we can decide these things. Can't we?
It's live, so
Yeah, so now it is so, all right? So yeah, come by December 1st, 1 to 4, kind of get things rolling. You can drop some of those things off, or before that if you'd like, because that's a little further down the road than you would like.
Yeah.
And Michael, the owner of Bread, Milk and Honey, who's actually been on the show before, is going to be providing refreshments and snacks for people that come by during that time, just to express his gratitude for Christmas hope. And so yeah, we would just encourage you to be as generous as you can possibly be, even if it's $1. You can buy something with $1 that somebody in our city needs, right?
Yeah.
$1 is a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, eh? We take so much for granted, and you think of the things that we throw away or the things that we're not grateful for, and somebody else in our own community would really, really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to switch gears on you guys. That's about half of our show. What I didn't tell you is that I want to talk about why you're both so inspired to do this kind of important work, because we're coming on a season where people in our community, thousands literally, are going to be benefiting from your hard work and your dedication to serving need in our community. But that's not the kind of work that everybody does. In fact, there aren't very many executive directors around that do this kind of work. And so I want you to tell us a bit about your journey to these careers and what got you here, because I'm sure it's an interesting story. I've heard a bit about yours, but I want you to tell it to our listeners, because it's interesting and it's important, I think, and we value you. Our community values you both, and many others that do the kind of work you do. So, but tell us a bit about how one becomes as awesome as you badasses are. So let's hear
I don't know,
it.
we're still figuring that out.
We all are, right? But yeah, well, as much as you know, or as much as you can share.
Do you know yourself? Start.
I don't know. I grew up in BC. We moved here 7 years ago now. We're actually very plugged in with our local church, My Victory Church, and my husband's actually the music director there and stuff. And so a lot of it kind of stems from that. We've been working with the community and community programs and groups for a long time. We've been doing
In BC as well?
in BC as well, yeah.
Cool. And
youth
where in BC, I
programs.
have to ask?
Penticton.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sunny Okanagan.
Yeah.
And yep.
I don't know if you-
Unlike
it's
here.
a little different here, but
Just
still
a
beautiful.
little, just a little bit. Yeah, we do miss the sun sometimes.
Yes. Who doesn't?
But I love the snow. Not so much the wind, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was a stay-at-home mom actually, and most of my life, and then we got here and got plugged in, and we kind of just had a bunch of volunteers who kind of had a crazy idea one day, and so we just launched the program essentially, which is My City Care Now, and it kind of has snowballed out of just like simple programs and projects, and it's now a full-blown office and thing downtown. So it's been pretty awesome.
So you condensed like months and
Yes.
months and months of really
And years.
hard work.
Into-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into like a 20-second
Nothing.
elevator. This doesn't have. Think of it this way. Think of your community, because you didn't let those.
And that's
So I think I would say is when you look at kind of my resume, I just picked from so many different things. Like I had window cleaning and tax law and working at the as an executive director, where you hit a problem and you're like, I'm stuck, and you know, you just feel really down at that point. But it's to be able to really use and this is what's great about Lethbridge, is to use other agencies and other people that have gone through it,
Right.
and get that resource and help.
So talk to us about being stuck. What does that look like in your businesses?
It depends on different things, like it could be funding, it could be resources, or it could be structure. So for our collaborative work actually with the Mindful Munchies lunch program, it was the facility, and for us not to have a full functioning kitchen, and for more schools to come on board with our program. So how do you problem solve that?
Yeah.
You know, you can't say no to the schools.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to provide variety. So it was basically looking at different models and collaborating with the team. That's really important. Is my team is really amazing at bringing up new ideas and collaborating together.
Is that Mindful Munchies program something you do together?
Yep.
Yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
If you told me that, which I'm sure you did,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say if. When you told me that, I totally forgot about that. Can you tell our viewers about that? 'Cause it's a really cool program.
It's how the light bulb go. You're like, oh.
I was like, really? You guys are both doing that? So yeah,
Yeah.
tell our viewers about the Mindful Munchies program, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So the Mindful Munchies program is providing nutritious lunch options to children and youth that are in need in our communities in different schools and agencies. So we collaborated and we make them and bundle the lunches, and My City Care delivers them to the different agencies. And it's a really amazing program and collaboration. And I think what we see is that 1 in 5 children live in poverty in Lethbridge. So it was something that we wanted to, I think both agencies wanted to be able to actually address and try to pick that little piece of helping that statistics. If everyone kind of takes a little piece, I think we will be able to end that statistics. And we started on October 2nd, 2017, and we started with 11 schools and 600 lunches a week. Within a few months, it went to 16 schools and 1,100 lunches a week. And then this year, we started on September 10th, and we're at 19 schools and agencies and 1,400 lunches a week.
I should know this. How many schools are there?
Well, just District 51 has 21 schools.
So you're like almost all of this.
Almost there,
Almost there, yeah.
It's madness.
Yes.
But it's crazier to me that 1 in 5 kids is hungry
Yeah.
and that you're delivering that many meals.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Us too. When we saw the statistics, when we saw the schools, and some of them came with the numbers that they came, I think we both looked and again, some poverty is not seen, right?
Yeah.
It's not seen. Like some students don't. They don't go and address that they are, and we wanted to do it in a very non-stigmatizing.
Well, it's embarrassing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And my understanding of the way that the program is received is that the food is out and available, but it's not like a big thing. So
Yeah.
you gotta take a ticket and say, I'm the poor kid.
Yes,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
not at all. It's very
And each
non-stigmatizing.
school is kind of done their own like adaptation of that. Like
Yes.
one of the schools uses the ingredients to bring the kids in and help make the lunches.
Oh, that's cool.
Some do the brown bag lunches. Some
Yeah.
opt out of some of the programs. I think the programs. What's great about the program is that we can be flexible with
Yeah.
all the schools, so we can be able to provide that flexibility according to their needs.
It's interesting to me too that there's no kind of distinction between different parts of the city. I mean, this is a program that's being offered on the west side, the south side, the
Yeah.
north side, all schools on each
Yeah.
Yeah.
quadrant of the
Yep.
of the city, right? And the perception might be that that's not the case, but you're seeing that that's not true. That there's poverty all over, right?
Yeah,
All over,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. And we don't just not just provide to schools. We also have other agencies. So something we wanted to do is not to just provide it to schools in particular, but we wanted to say other agencies, they do what's best in providing, in getting involved in that child and youth's life. So let us do what we do best, which is provide you with that food, and then you can focus on the children. So we have Woods Homes on our list. We have Fifth on Fifth.
Yeah.
We have Amazing Kids, and so we can provide it to those children as well.
One of the other things that that I'm curious about is what the stats are around education, learning, and hunger. And I know that there's like some amazing research done on this. Do you have any of that information at your fingertips? You do?
Well,
Your fingertips.
Well, how about this?
my
Can
fingertips.
you speak in approximations around how meaningful it is to have food in your belly and how much more likely it is that you'll learn something
Yeah.
and then elevate
Yes.
from that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I love is research.
Okay.
And so before we started this
That's the
program,
lawyer in you, right?
Yeah.
Something that we did before we started the program is I did research on the correlation between all that, and it's very it's highly correlated that if a student has nutritious food, not just a full stomach, but nutritious food, they'll have less disruptions in classrooms, which means they will take less sick days. There will be less behavioral interruptions, which not only will benefit them in the classroom, but also other students that are in that classroom. So if there's more disruptions, there's that lack of education because the teacher would have to deal with that disruption. So we did a survey at the end of our first year of our program and asking some of the schools that were involved to report back. And we got 82% said that it increased behavior, that it benefited in that aspect. I can't remember the other statistics. That one was really high for me, so I want to see.
Stood out, yeah.
Yeah, it
And
does.
there was lots of attendance. It was increased attendance, and there was actually one particular school that reported that it also benefited the families because the families had repeatedly, a few families had repeatedly went to the counselors and mentioned that they didn't have to worry about their kids eating,
Right.
which took stress away from them, so
Yeah.
they could focus on something
And it
else.
could be a reason to send your kid to school in some ways, if-
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what goes on in some homes, but if there's food at a destination, that's a good place to send your kid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. So the other thing that I thought was interesting around that was that, those things can not only be measured like individually in classrooms, but in schools, but then economically. I mean, we're talking about lowering the chances of generational poverty, increasing levels of education. These types of things have long-reaching impact. And I got to think that, you're both moms, that resonates even more with you because
Yeah.
of the fact that you've both raised children, and you can just imagine what that must be like to not be able to provide, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't touch on that. You both talked about your skills and all your ninja abilities and stuff, but I want to say that generally moms are pretty awesome. You guys are pretty awesome. So talk to our viewers about how being a mom helps you kick ass at what you guys do, because I gotta think that it helps. Come on.
Yeah. It definitely gives you that extra sense of not necessarily compassion and understanding in the situation, but I think it keeps your heart just in a pliable state. Because I know we even, my daughter comes sometimes and helps out with some of our projects and different things, and it's eye-opening even to her, and it's interesting to see things through her eyes when she sees it for the
How
first
old's
time.
your daughter?
She's 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just, we actually did a pop-up free clothing store event 2 weeks ago, and she came and helped out with that. And she was helping some of the kids find clothes and different things and jackets and just the things that we take necessarily for granted sometimes, that our kids have coats and warm gloves and toques and mitts and that kind of stuff, and that's not the case for everybody.
I've heard my oldest son, they're just learning things, and we're trying to teach them to be polite, but his response sometimes is like, "We'll just go buy that," and our families are privileged, and our kids, unless they're taught, they don't get that just buying something has a whole connection of things. It's being brought up by a family who valued education, going to school, having food on the table, and now having gainful employment because of all those things that happened for generations. And now my kid thinks that you just go buy something, and it's important, I think, to connect those dots, right? And it's good that you're doing that. So someone asked the same question of you, so tell me how that relates.
So there's, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and when she was born with a lot of allergies. So she actually had there's medical, she had cow's protein allergy, and she had dairy, soy, gluten, and corn allergy. So that's basically, she ate that.
I'm impressed that you can find that all out in 3 years.
Well, and that was the first 18 months. It was one of the hardest 18 months of my life, because I would have to watch her kind of go through pain, and if I ate something that may have been contaminated, or if she touched it, then she would be in pain for days. So
this would get communicated through breast milk too?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy. So
it was a really tough situation, because I basically went from being a chocolate addict to not even looking at it, which is very hard, let me tell you.
I feel
very hard. I cried. But I think that just but when I saw kind of that dependency that she had on that, right? Like nothing else, and no one else could be able to provide that except for myself, and I have to be on that strict to be able to make sure that she's not in pain. That related to looking at what we do with our children and youth, with it's like they're looking at somebody else is providing that for them, right? And also just seeing, this is really corny vision, but you can just visualize it as I tell you this. But when she started kind of eating things that she could, like slowly putting it into her system, when she would eat nutritious food, it was like this vision in my head that her brain is saying, ooh, like nutritious food. And that's how I envisioned these kids with mindful munchies eating it. I felt like their bodies are just like craving that, and then they got it, and I'm a very visual person, so it really definitely helped me when I went through that process with her, and to see that, and with the toys, she's a unique child. She has different, she loves police officers, and she loves people that give and do services. So something that she wanted to do is to provide coffee and donuts to the police station the other day. So she made me kind of drive her there and to take coffee and donut to them and the Legion.
She should be hanging out with my kids. This is advanced cooking for a child.
But I feel like I learned from her, because when I had explained to her where I work and why does a food bank have to exist, and for what type of families, and this is the concept of a 3-year-old, she grabbed her box of cereal and a toy, and it's like, okay, here, a kid should be good,
That's pretty cool.
So I think that really helped me. Just wanted to be able to kind of support the other moms out there too. Yeah.
That makes me think of, what age is it appropriate, or can a person begin communicating these types of things to kids? I mean, you would know this. You're in the type of work where you're probably thinking about this kind of thing, and now it has me thinking, like, how do we as parents connect kids to need and to understanding, cultural differences, differences in socioeconomic status, all that stuff? When do you think that resonates with kids?
I would say it probably depends on the child. Like, I know with my daughter, she's more mature, and we have a 5-year-old son who, like, his idea of helping is Batman. So, like,
It probably will until he's 10, right?
Kind of thing. So, I don't know if he would necessarily understand to the same level as our daughter would, even at, like, when she was younger, kind of thing. And girls maybe, like, they just, like, have
Let's be honest, girls are more advanced. We all know that.
Can't deny that. No, I'm just kidding.
But it does depend on, I think, like, just life situations too, because we meet like a lot of really mature kids who, because of life situations, are a lot more mature.
I think and I don't know, and everyone does parenting differently, and I'm not an expert on it at all, but I would say as soon as my daughter started understanding what things are around her, and I started explaining. So for example, food bank, explaining why there's a need for food bank and why a kid is in the hospital. We have somebody we know that is in the hospital, explaining that even though it's something probably not happy, she probably doesn't understand the full concept of what it is for her to come to tears or such, but she'll understand that there is other things than, you know, I need my candy right now, than, you know, which she does love candy. So I think for me, we started as soon as she understood how to communicate, is to just talk to her like I would talk to somebody else. And sometimes I think I went a little too far myself, because, you know, they're 3 years, she's 3. How would she understand half the things, right? So I think that it just depends on how you visualize kind of talking about it.
So as EDs of agencies, when you see volunteers show up, what age are their kids when you cringe? And what age are their kids when you're like, oh, that's cute and cool? Like, don't bring a 2-year-old. Don't bring like your 2-year-old son. Like, but what, you know? I
think what's really cute and really amazing is when donors bring their children, and you know, they donate with the child does it, and then we do a tour and we explain it, right? And we don't, with our front client intake, we don't really let a lot of younger children kind of do that, just because of first of all, heavy lifting. Second, there's just a lot of we would have to have parents involved and such. And so I would say, I don't know if there's a specific age. We've had 13, 14-year-olds that have helped in the front area, but we usually tend to want to kind of have our adults on the front.
Okay. Yeah, and I would say it depends on the program too. Like we also have like lots of different types of programs and aspects to the program. So like having them come in and help wrapping, or having them come in and help do different things that aren't necessarily going to have them in the front of house kind of stuff. Like they're definitely, like we've had moms bring their little ones come to Shop of Wonders and help out in the kids zone kind of thing. So we have kind of like a child care area where we decorate and stuff, and then they can bring their kids up there, and then it kind of helps create like a family environment as well.
We also do have, and we also do have safety. Like in our warehouse area, we tend to not let kids go because of there's forklifts and
knives.
So there's just different areas, like you said, events.
Yeah, that's cool. So talk to us a bit, just winding up, you know, we get another 10 minutes or so, about ongoing need, community support, where you get funding from, how somebody watching this program tonight who felt compelled to give to one or all these agencies could support you either on an ongoing basis or on a one-off basis. What does that look like? What might the impact be? What is, you know, where do large gifts go to? If somebody wanted to write a check for $1,000 or $10,000, you know, what would be the first thing that you would do? Maybe just leave us with that.
Sure. Do you want to go? I have lots of ideas. I don't want to hog it.
Well, I'm trying to get my brain out of Christmas mode right now, because we're just living in
now
Christmas
we're just,
land right now.
Now we're shifting out of Christmas land and more into like the ongoing
Visioneering land.
Yeah, that's right.
I know for us, like we just opened a brand new office, and we basically moved into the office thinking, okay, we need like 2 rooms, and Trevor Brown is the executive director upstairs at Fifth on Fifth Youth Services, and if he's watching, he's probably gonna laugh, because we moved in like we're gonna have this 1 room kind of thing, and asked for like a quote on the space, and then we rapidly expanded into 3 or 4 rooms as we were unpacking and just being like, Trevor, like how much is this extra room and this extra space gonna cost us, and then going out and get a donor specifically for that space. So we have 1 room left to have sponsored. That would be amazing if we can get that sponsored.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be a real big blessing for us.
And what would it take?
$400 a month.
Okay. So that would be just an ongoing commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that would be super awesome.
So you'd have the space then to deliver on a service that you already have resources for, so it would just be a matter of covering the ongoing variable costs to cover what you already have.
Yes. Yeah.
Restricted by space.
Yeah, we are kind of restricted by space right now. We have, we've kind of So we opened the sewing studio, and that's essentially in one area, and then we have our clothing store, and then we realized to have the clothing store, we need somewhere to sort donations. So now we have a room where just we sort donations, and then we have the Cinderella project that's kind of taking up 2 spaces, and the one room is storing 300 to 400 dresses right now.
Wow.
So it's yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks
Yeah.
for saying that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
How about you?
I think right now, vision, I would say we needed a full functioning kitchen. So something that it's basically a wish list for myself and the food bank to be able to transform our kitchen into a kitchen that we can do more for a lunch program, more variety, be able to take on more agencies. So that will be kind of like either a one-time sort of donation or a group or people willing to come in and do services. So I don't know however way people like to envision that. We're always something that we will always say after our Christmas break as well is people still need food throughout the year, and Christmas is a really this season is amazing on generosity on donations, but we always encourage the community to be able to also donate through the the months that we call them the dry months where donations tend to go down a bit, and our families still need food and we still need to provide for them. So those could be on, we can do them on monthly, they can do ongoing, or just one-time donation. Anything is basically appreciated.
So if there was a benefactor that was going to make that dream reality, what would that look like?
For the kitchen? Somebody who, like funding or like somebody coming and doing it first?
Either. Yeah.
Well,
this is your vision.
We need, here, I'll let you know what we need. We need commercial.
We have to speak these things into the universe.
I know, so exactly. I'm saying it. So whoever would like to do this, we need a oven and stove. So commercial, basically grade oven and stove. We need a dishwasher, and I think at that point it will kind of start it. And then we need cupboards, and we need lots of great storage for that to be able to. We did get a grant from Food Banks Canada through the Walmart Foundation to be able to put some pantry items in the kitchen so that we can separate our lunch program from the other items. But we want to be able to have more cupboards so that we can actually utilize the space better.
Okay.
And like having a dishwasher and a stove and oven would be amazing.
So if somebody had those things, they would need to be commercial grade?
Yes, and we need to be able to, the space did at one point have the plumbing, because we did used to, it's funny, we did used to have a full functioning kitchen, but then it changed and we don't, and so now we need it again.
Yeah. That's good, that's progress. Okay, cool. Do you have anything else that you think that we should leave our viewers with tonight? Any parting words that are going to be impactful? I have something to say because I'm going to pitch the Christmas Hope again. Would one of you want to pitch that instead?
I think
you can.
Yeah.
You want me to pitch it?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't forget, it's right above my office, 427 5th Street South. If you can't find me, find Bread, Milk, and Honey. Go upstairs to Hive. Hive is like a really cool co-working place. They've donated their space. Michael at Bread, Milk, and Honey's brought food and stuff. Bring money. Bring gifts, toys.
Gifts, yes.
Gifts. Okay, cool. And bring food. And that's December the 1st from 1 to 4. That will benefit Christmas Hope. And then, if it's in your heart and in your wallet, after that, just keep on dropping off things.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think one thing if people want to know more information about events that are happening in our community, we do have a collaborative website called christmashope.ca. Under events, there'll be different events throughout the city that basically is happening either to support one agency or all 5 agencies or 2 agencies. It's just basically everything will be posted there. There's more information about each of our agencies and partnership, and we also sometimes post events from other community agencies that aren't really part of the Christmas Hope, but we want to make sure that community knows what's happening in the city, and so that it's just one website that has everything in it.
Cool.
Yeah, christmashope.ca.
That's easy. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
This is really awesome, and we're looking forward to hopefully bringing you lots of food, gifts, and money.
Absolutely.
December 1st.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, good chatting. Yeah.